Hello and welcome back to the channel of car nonsense. It is far too early and it's a slightly different video today because I'm not reviewing a car. I'm not standing in a feces riddled lay-by waggling my arms about like one of those inflatable, wacky, waving, flailing arm tube inflatable men from car forecourts. But anyway, I'm in my company car, which isn't that interesting. It's good, but not interesting. It's a diesel Ford Kuga. And I'm on my way to go and do some filming for work, for my day job, but I didn't want to waste the journey. So along the way, I'm not going to be talking about the delights of Peterborough. I'm going to be talking about the future of this channel and also answering some questions that you've actually submitted, mostly on Instagram, because YouTube's community feature is useless unless you actually just have millions and millions of subscribers. I'm not there yet. But yeah, the channel, it's been going coming up to 2 years. It'll be 2 years in August. I started this channel while I worked at DriveTribe because basically my boss, the CEO of DriveTribe at the time, we were in the first lockdown. He just said, oh, you're not going out flying to drive nice cars. You're going to get bored, aren't you? I'm like, yeah, probably, because I'm a child. And he said, oh, you should start a YouTube channel. Like, you know, it'd be good. You can promote DriveTribe on it. We can use it to like position you as an influencer. That worked well. But yeah, anyway, I thought I'm getting these cars in anyway to write about them for the website because I'm a journalist, if you hadn't guessed. And I thought, well, I might as well film them at the same time. And filming kind of overtook the writing a little bit. And I just really enjoyed learning how to do YouTube badly, which is great. And I guess the channel's grown faster than I thought it would. I'm nearly at 15,000 subscribers. Which, considering I'm just a boring bald man talking about cars without any kind of energy, enthusiasm or gimmicks, I'm quite impressed with that, and thank you if you subscribe, I really appreciate it. Lots of you might not know anything about me other than I'm a random bloke off the internet. I've been doing journalism for about 10 years, 12 years? Something like that. My first job in the industry wasn't anything to do with cars. It was working for an agency that made magazines for other people. Do you remember those things that are printed on dead trees that you flick through while you're in the doctor's surgery or on the bog? And they made magazines for other companies, such as IKEA and BUTLINS, which is a UK leisure resort for families. P&O Cruises, City and Guilds. Basically, I worked on a load of different magazines for a load of different clients. And it was a really good experience. I had the best boss in the world, taught me lots about how I couldn't actually write as well as I thought. And some of the questions coming up later are about how to get into journalism. And yeah, spoiler, learn how to write. Yeah, so I did that for a bit, and then I left and I went to work for Haymarket, who make things like Auto Car and What Car, exciting things like that. Except I worked on the B2B part of their business. So I was embedded in Volkswagen Group in the UK to run their dealer-facing website. So when they wanted to send out a message to all their dealers saying, oh, you're not allowed to sell wing mirrors this weekend, or you can sell wing mirrors this weekend, but not these ones, I had to kind of turn business jargon into normal words for those people. And then I left that. That was great because I got lots of company cars and experience driving cars, and I thought, ooh, I like cars. I knew I liked cars, but boy, a 1.4 litre Audi A3 saloon, bliss. Anyway, after that, I left to go and join a pokey little startup no one had heard of called Carwow. Carwow? Yeah, that's right. Apparently they're on YouTube. You should go and check them out. And I was employee number 7, I think, at Carwow as their first in-house editorial person. Again, doing words about cars, consumer car advice, etc., etc., SEO stuff. And I really enjoyed that. It was challenging, working for a startup, a company that's trying to find its feet. And it is a car sales website. It's not just a YouTube channel, although that's quite hard to work out these days. And I really enjoyed it. I kind of did 4 years there. Eventually, things didn't quite work out, and I was maybe asked to leave. But yeah, it was a good experience. I went to work for DriveTribe, and I guess that's possibly where most of you know me from. And DriveTribe was great, and I'll probably do a separate video at some point in the future about what happened with DriveTribe. It won't be the scandalous Clarkson tabloid horror story that you might think, because I genuinely miss it. I had a great time there, and it was a fantastic place with fantastic intentions to try and get more young people into journalism. So anyway, here I am now. I've got a day job, 4 days a week, doing content for Motorpoint, which is a nearly new car dealer network type thing, mostly based in the Midlands, and I'm going to be doing YouTube videos for them as part of my job. And that's what I'm going today, to go and film reviews of 2 used cars, because used cars, they're really good sense at the moment, aren't they? I'm not going to go into my whole spiel about why used cars make more sense than new cars, because you're clever, you're grown-ups, you can work it out for yourself. But yeah, that's day job, and I get a day a week off to do YouTube. Today is not my day off, but anyway. So yeah, my motorbike channel and my car channel. And YouTube land is pretty tough at the moment, to be honest. I'm very glad I don't have to rely on it as my sole source of money for living, paying the mortgage, paying nursery bills, because you're at the whim of the algorithm. And I don't want this to become another YouTuber whinges about YouTube video, because there's already enough of those. But yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky. Like views, I've had a really good start of the year, and then March, April was some of the worst months I've had in terms of views. And it kind of depends what cars you get in, really. And I don't get access to the really shiny stuff straight away, like I used to when I was at DriveTribe, because DriveTribe was a huge thing, and car companies will give cars in order of how big your outlet is, basically. So if you've got 4 million views, then you can get cars before anyone else knows about them quite often. If you've got 15,000 subscribers on YouTube channel, you get them, you know, eventually, shall we say. But yeah, it's like being at a sausage party and you get to have the last most used sausage at the end. Used sausage? Anyway, it's very early in the morning. So yeah, so I don't necessarily get cars as soon as other people, so I don't get the views I used to get. But it's okay. I've never done YouTube for the money. You'd be crazy to, unless you've got millions of subscribers. I do it because I like making the videos. I like editing them. I like filming them. I don't like presenting them because I'm not very good at that. But I just think it's a good thing to be able to do, frankly. I quite like it, so thank you. But yeah, it wasn't great, so I imagine lots of manufacturers will slowly stop giving me cars, and they realise that I haven't got the views that I used to get, but whatever. That's why I've got a motorbike channel as well, to kind of double up on these things. But yeah, I'm still going to keep doing it. This isn't a, all my friends are leaving me, I'm leaving YouTube video. It's not one of those videos. But really, yeah, the channel is going all right. I'm still enjoying doing it. I don't have as much time as I used to do it. And I'm not doing as many exciting things as I used to do. But it was getting a little bit silly at the back end of last year. I was flying once a week to try and get videos out of car launches. And usually you get about 4 hours with the car in a foreign land. And I wouldn't have much time to do a video. But I'd managed it. And I was quite proud of that, because not many other people were getting car reviews out of these launches. It was mostly just the written people. Joining the M25, just going to pay attention for a second so I don't become a little pimple on the nose of that man truck behind me. There's actual lane discipline this early in the morning. It's great. So yeah, car channel is going all right. I've got some cars coming up that are quite interesting to me. I've worked out that normal family cars do better for me on YouTube than really fast, sexy stuff. And actually, at the back end of last year, that was a slightly good thing to realise, because all the fast, sexy stuff that I did last year, such as the Lamborghinis, the Bugattis, Porsches, none of those videos did terribly well on my channel, and then I lost my access to them, really, as I got booted out of DriveTribe along with most other people. Again, another video coming up on that. So when I see things like the Dacia Jogger doing really well, that pleases me, because I can get hold of those quite easily. And I'm not into the business of borrowing cars from dealers. I kind of just going through the official PR channels, because I still see myself as a journalist that can't get his words out at 6:30 in the morning on the M25. But I see myself as a journalist because I'm critical about cars, and I've grown up doing journalism. I don't see myself as a YouTuber or an influencer, and that's my excuse for being rubbish at YouTube. So yeah, this might slowly turn into a slightly normal car channel, as in a channel doing normal cars, still in a nonsense style. And I kind of set this channel up because I wanted to stick 2 fingers up at car journalism, because I think most of it's boring, but worse, most of it's irrelevant. I still think There's too many videos of cars out there going sideways on track, or journalists who think they want to go sideways on a racetrack, driving normal cars and then being like, oh, the steering feel on this Dacia Sandero is terrible. I just think it's a load of bollocks, and I kind of want to stick two fingers up at that and just point out the things that actually matter to people, like fuel economy and comfort, and the fact that my knee bangs into the centre console on this Kuga when I go around a corner at more than 2 miles an hour chasing after a pheasant. But anyway, no, peasant. My peasants have escaped. They're revolting, in fact. Motorbike channel, I don't know if any of you watch it, so I won't do a massive update there. That's grown quite nicely, and I seem to still get quite good access to bikes, and I love riding motorbikes. And again, one of the questions asked me, do I prefer cars or motorbikes? Yeah, put your fingers in your ears if you really like cars for that bit. But anyway, that's probably enough waffle about the channel update. I'm going to do some Q&As, but I'm going to do that when I'm not driving, because I've got to read the Q's off my phone to give the A's. So I'll see you in about an hour and a half when I've got a Greggs sausage roll and possibly a Belgian bun for breakfast, because my body is a temple. And I'll answer some of your questions about motoring journalism and the industry. Some of them, I need to be really careful what I say so I don't get in legal trouble. Anyway, enough waffle. Thank you. See you then. Right, I've finished eating from the nose bag of shame. I better answer some of these questions that came in on the Instagram. Question 1 came from a Katie Smith, aged 12, from Essex. How did you lose your hair? Ha ha ha. Yes, by having a father that also went bald quite early. My brother's also quite bald. I wish I'd shaved my head about 10 years before I did, because I had about between 21 and 31 looking bedraggled, awful, and like I had a comb over. So I wish I did that earlier. An anonymous question says, I can't actually read the question because it's probably in violation of some of YouTube's terms. Who are the dodgiest journalists? And I mean dodgy in a not good, you wouldn't want to meet them or hang out with them sort of way. I'm not obviously going to name any names, but unfortunately in the car journalism industry, there are some people with reputations for being a lech. And I would go as far to say that most female journalists and some male car journalists will have stories that aren't good about things that have happened to them on car launches, on events. Yeah, it needs to sort itself out a bit, the industry, and I think COVID might have done the job for it by making loads of people redundant, but there are some dodgy bastards in this industry who have done things, lost jobs for being touchy-feely and not very nice people. But anyway, I won't go on and say any more on that. What car/bike would you love most to review but has been unreachable, asks Anonymous. Pagani Zonda. I think it's got to be a Pagani Zonda, really. That was been my dream car. I went to the start of the Gumball Rally in 2006 and I was at university, saw one, bright orange one, fell in love with it, and I've always wanted a Zonda because I think the interiors are magnificent, balmy. I've been to the factory, well, back in 2011 when it was the old factory, and the receptionist showed me around for like 2 hours. I was just on holiday. And it's fascinating, the attention to detail, the noise of those V12 naturally aspirated engines. It's bliss. They might be a pain in the ass to live with, but I don't care. I want one. 2 people have asked, including possibly the head of Volvo PR, but also Rob_Red5, which car manufacturer lays on the best catering? So on car events, you get fed, unsurprisingly. And which one lays on the best food? It really varies. The Korean manufacturers, such as Kia, they often give you Korean fried chicken, which I love. Italian brands obviously tend to do the Italian thing really well. BMW, I've persuaded BMW PRs before to take me to German beer halls for dinner, which I love. So yeah, you can eat at some very fancy places, and I've probably been cooked for by some Michelin star chefs on Audi things back in the day. But yeah, I love food, but as you see, I eat Greggs. I also enjoy Michelin star stuff, but I'm not a snob. I will eat rubbish. So any food is good, really. B. Lucarelli, why are bikes better than cars? This was coming, wasn't it? Motorbikes, if you've not ridden a motorbike, you won't understand. But motorbikes give you the most insane sense of not just being alive, but it's like the best driver's car, but in 3D. There's an extra dimension to biking that you just don't get in cars, even the best cars. And on the road these days, sports cars, supercars are by and large pointless. You can't exploit them because the roads are too busy. And if you're in something fast, you're probably sitting on the floor, so you can't actually see to overtake stuff. Motorbikes, you can nip in and out, get where you want to go, and still have fun on the road. Quite naughtily, but no one knows you're being naughty, because the second you let off the throttle, so much engine braking, you're back down to 70. So bikes are just, they give me a sense of freedom, which is a massive cliche, but you're just more directly connected to the machine and the engine, and it's a more visceral thing. And I think that motorbikes feel more different from each other than modern cars do. And bikes are still getting naughtier and faster, not noisier. Cars, I feel, are petering out a bit. Jack Scotton, not anonymous, he's Carwow's head of video. Used to work with him. He films Matt Watson for a living. Do you find that your baldness makes you a quicker driver due to the improved aero? Yes, I do. This haircut is worth 3 seconds a lap around Monza. Do I prefer writing about cars or talking about cars? Asks Joseph.31. I think I prefer writing about cars. I'm a better writer than I am a presenter. Carl Stevens, who's a motorbike journalist, says, what's more fun, a car launch or a motorbike launch? Now, I've only done 6 or 7 motorbike launches with the proper motorbike journalism crowd, and it's quite a small world, the world of motorbike journalists. There's probably only 10, 15 of them, whereas in the car world there's hundreds. Bike launches and bike journalists are a different breed. So bike journalists are nearly all racers or ex-racers. They are all really funny. They're all really nice, down-to-earth people. They've all got screw loose, and they can all ride incredibly fast, incredibly well. Yeah, I've been on like fairly tame bike launches, but I've heard stories of people putting motorbikes in lifts and people's hotel rooms, of doing things they shouldn't be doing. Car launches are quite tame by comparison. Apparently the olden days of car launches was a different world, back in the days when cash was left in the bedrooms and there were prostitutes and things like that, allegedly. So I prefer bike launches at this stage, but I'm still very kind of wet behind the ears, don't know what I'm doing, I'm not very fast, so there we go. What's my best advice to give to aspiring motoring journalists? Learn how to speak. That's from Daniel Cars 05. My best advice for an aspiring motoring journalist, whether you want to do YouTube, whether you want to do written stuff, whatever you want to do, learn to write, and learn to write really well, and accept that you're never finished. You're never the finished article in terms of writing. The day you think, oh, I've mastered writing, that's when you might as well give up, because you're probably not as good as you think you are. I've certainly learned that the hard way. And there's always someone better than you. And read prolifically. Don't just read car magazines, because then you end up writing like a car journalist, which I don't think is a good thing. Read books, read everything that you can that interests you. Develop an interest outside cars as well. Don't make cars your personality. There's nothing more boring than being like, oh yeah, so what do you like? Oh, Aston Martins. Right, anyway. Miximize, who's one of my old friends from when I was sort of doing army stuff at university. What's your top parental car feature ever? Top parental car feature has to be an easily accessible ISOFIX point for mounting a child seat. I put child seats in and out of cars several times a week. I know most people don't do that, they just put them in and leave them. But yeah, when it's easy to get an ISOFIX car seat into a car, I have a little orgasm. Mitch Thomas, do you prefer car or motorbike journalism? From a fan of both your YouTube channels. Thank you, Mr. Mitch Thomas. I think I've kind of covered this. In terms of journalism side things, I've done car journalism for a very long time. I don't think I'm good at it, and I don't think I've nailed it, but motorbike journalism, I've got a lot more to learn, and I've got a lot more motorbikes to try, so I prefer the motorbike stuff, and that might come across in my enthusiasm levels on the channels. Daniele, who might be someone I work with at Motorpoint, no questions, can you give me a ride in a BMW i8? I would love to, but I don't know if BMW's got any on the press fleet anymore, because they've been discontinued. Final few questions. Anonymous asks, Tiff Needell or Quentin Willson? Tiff is a force of nature with views from a certain time period that may be the early Cretaceous period. I've never hung out with Quentin Willson, but I like to cut his jib, and the fact he's got 2 L's in his surname, which everyone forgets. I'm going to go with Tiff, though. And then, the final one... No, it's not the final one. Anonymous asks, do you ever meet people from car companies and think, why is this clown designing cars? No, because anyone that is designing cars for a major car company is probably at the top of their game and has gone through a lot of designing cup holders as a 25-year-old to get to where they are. So I've got utmost respect. I can't draw, I can't design cars. If cars, I think the problem people have with car design, BMW grills, things like that, because they don't understand it needs to move on. It can't be the same forever. So I don't like to whinge about challenging, divisive looks of things, because there's a Hyundai i30 there. I could fall asleep looking at that. If every car looked like that, I mean, that's what people on the internet seem to want. And finally, what have I got here? Best two-seater sports car on the market, asks Full Throttle. Oh, it's going to be a massive cliche, but I'm just going to say 911 GT3 RS. I've only driven the 991.2, the green one that I drove last year. I still lie awake at night thinking about the noise that made and the way it made me feel connected. But anyway, that's enough questions for now. I'll probably do another one of these at some point in the future. Hopefully it's been vaguely entertaining, vaguely useful. If it has, please hit like, because it helps, you know, helps me afford things like the sausage roll and this Belgian bun and the vacuum cleaner I'm going to need to get the crumbs out of my beard and the car. But anyway, I've got to go and film. Thank you. Please subscribe to the channel and my motorbike channel, because that's not all really hardcore motorbike stuff. There's waffly personal vlog stuff on there as well. And I'll see you next time when I won't be in the services up the M1. Goodbye.